Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. So I recently reached over 100,000 followers on Poshmark. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what Poshmark is, my top tips for using it, and how you can become a Posh ambassador. And before I forget, don't forget to hit subscribe below so you can stay tuned for more of our awesome videos coming up soon. Stay tuned. All right, so first of all, what is Poshmark? So Poshmark is an app that you can download for free on your phone, and you can buy or sell new or used items. So some people use it because they just want to get rid of some items in their closet and they are not necessarily going to make money off of them, but they want to get something back. And some poshers are actually selling items that they're making a profit off of. So for myself, I've basically just been there are probably maybe 3 items that I did make profit off of, but most of the items that I'm selling, I'm just trying to get rid of them and get something back. And also I've sold them for other people as well. So like my brother, my husband, when they're trying to get rid of stuff and just want to get a little bit something back, helping them out. With Poshmark, the buyer and seller are protected in that they use priority mail so that way they can track the shipment, and then they secure the money from the purchaser within the account and hold on to it, and then the seller is not given the money until the purchaser, the buyer, receives the item, marks it as received as described, and then the money gets deposited to the seller, and then everyone's squared away. So if something happens where there's something wrong with the item, they can put an inquiry in and say that this item's not as described, and then they can send pictures into it and say what's wrong with it, and then Poshmark deals with it from there. So kind of a little bit like how Amazon handles the type of situation. Everything is 2-day shipping though with Poshmark with the priority, and unfortunately the price is a little bit high for the shipping. It is like a $6 shipping, so there's no Prime or anything. That would be really cool if they can consider that in the future, like a Posh Prime. With certain sales, the seller can actually do a discounted price and they can reduce the price on shipping or they can cover shipping. So there's ways that like a seller can actually put an offer out to a buyer and say, hey, I'll sell this to you for this price. Like maybe it was $25 and $6 shipping, but now I'm gonna offer it to you for $5 cheaper and I'll do free shipping. Or they can do, everything has to be 10% if they do an offer. So it would have to be 10% of whatever the listed price is, and then they would have to do some sort of discounted shipping. So either be just regular discounted shipping where it'd be like $4.99, or I think it's $4.99 the price goes to, or they could do like a free shipping type thing. So they all offer some sort of discount. With Poshmark, they take 20% of the sale that's made, so that's also something to consider. But for me, I still think I've done very well on it. I think I've made like over $3,000 back from, I started selling like 2013. So initially I started selling because I was trying to get some extra money in when I was saving for our wedding, and so I was trying to hustle as hard as I could. I was working like 2 jobs, doing Posh on the side and whatever else I could to make a little bit extra money to save for the wedding, get my college loans paid down, do all of that stuff. So this is definitely a nice little side hustle if you can. Again, as I mentioned, some people are doing this as revenue type of thing where they'll buy clothing or product items for a low price and then they'll sell them for a little bit higher on Poshmark and try to make some money off of it. Now it depends because you never really know what is going to sell, so you're taking a little bit of a risk there also. So just something to think about. If you do decide to use the Poshmark app, make sure you use code LauraLive555 and then you can get $5 off your first purchase. So definitely something to think about. Then if you refer friends to Poshmark and they make their first purchase, then you actually get like a credit for Poshmark also that you can apply. And I've used credits before and it's awesome. One of my favorite parts about Poshmark, definitely, so the deals I love, but I also love that you can haggle. So you can offer a certain price for a certain product. And so the products can vary from anything from shoes to clothes to makeup to jewelry. They also have things for men, for children. Now they can also include items around the house. So there's so many different items that you can get on Poshmark, and you can put an offer in if you don't like the price that's there, and then you can try to come to an agreement with the seller. All right, so I wanted to show you guys some of my top most favorite purchases that I have made from Poshmark. I purchased probably near like 100 items on Poshmark since 2013. So I started a long time ago. I definitely was purchasing items for the wedding that I used. I had like a bin that I used for my sparklers for the wedding. I had like a robe that I used, all different types of things. This is the Tory Burch purse that I've been using. Got a lot of compliments on this. And I love that it's so easily magnetic right here. So it just kind of snaps. And I got that for $75, which I thought was an excellent deal. Now, shoes are a big thing that I purchased from Poshmark, and a lot of the times these items are new with tags or come in the box. So for my wedding, I was a little bit bummed because I really wanted to get the Badgley Mishka shoes, but I couldn't afford them at that time. I did love the Michael Kors shoes that I wore. They're glittery and they're so comfortable, but I was a little sad that I didn't have the shoes. So for my 1-year anniversary, I found these shoes on Poshmark. They're super cute. So I wore them for our 1-year anniversary. I also wore them for our 2nd anniversary when we moved and in Paris, and these were $35. So excellent deal for those. I love buying makeup for better deals if I can, because the products I use are a little bit on the pricier end. So I was able to get this foundation, this hangover spray, and my favorite lashes I was able to get on there, all for a discount. So that's definitely something to consider, and these were all new when I got them, and it was just that the user or seller, they wanted to purchase them, and maybe they intended to use them, maybe they're a gift, or maybe sometimes they're just the wrong color and they just never use them. And that happens to me too, where I'll get something and I tend to use it, never do. So you can go ahead and you can sell it on there. And for me, it's an excellent deal. Even with the shipping, it was still cheaper than it would have been in the store, so help me out. I got probably my favorite bathing suit. This is a Venus bathing suit that I got. And I got the set, so top and bottom, for $25, and it was originally $65, so that was a huge deal. We're big Harry Potter fans, so I got this sweatshirt, Harry Potter sweatshirt, for $9. It's the kind of one that like hangs off a little bit, which I love. And then I got this Harry Potter Scenic game for $8. So love those. They also have Halloween costumes, so I got my Wonder Woman costume that I wore for Halloween for $19. And then I have a lot more shoes that I've gotten from there. So I'm not showing all of them. I've gotten a lot of shoes from over the years there, but these Toms I got for $19. I think these Michael Kors ones were maybe like $29. I can't remember exactly, but super cute. And then one of my favorite purchases, so I think it was maybe last summer, or the summer before, I was looking for the Tory Burch ones that everyone was wearing, so the nice like tan sandals, but they were like, I think they were like $200 or something, and I wanted to get them, and I'm still considering at some point getting those, but I also wanted something that kind of wrapped around the ankle so I had a little bit more support. So then I found these. These are Michael Kors sandals. I found these, they were new with the tag, so in the box, and they were $35, and I absolutely love them. The sole is padded, and it just, I don't know, I was really happy about that purchase. I wanted to highlight the top 3 of my favorite items I have listed for sale right now. So actually, they're all dresses. I love dresses so much, but this one is a very pretty pink one. I love the material that it has. It almost reminds me of like a lacy type of material. So it's like a pale pink, and I have this one listed. I wore this one in Antigua, and we took some professional photos with that one. So I love the photos and how they came out and how it looks on the dress. Then I have this one. So this is like, it's like an orange type dress, but it's interesting because I actually bought this on Poshmark, and then now I wore it and then I'm reselling it. So when I initially purchased it, it was listed as a coral dress. And to me, I feel like it's more like an orange, but I guess it could be maybe considered like a coral type of dress, but I just love it and I loved wearing it. It was so comfortable. So I have that one for sale. And then this one was one of my favorites to wear. So this is what I wore to our first wedding anniversary, and it's which was this? So it's DB Studio. I got this one from David's Bridal, and I just loved wearing it. It was super comfortable. It is a little bit more on the heavy side, I think, because of all the sequins that it has on it, but I know I loved it. All right, so I wanted to go into my top Poshmark tips for sellers. So when you're listing your items, make sure to be as honest as possible. So I always have or try to have an attention grabbing photo as my initial photo, like a cover photo of the item, especially if I have professional photos I had done of the items, like some of my dresses that from when I was on vacation or from our anniversary, we had pictures with. Those are awesome, very attention grabbing and beautiful looking. You could have a nice, I think they call it like an overlay or something, where it's the item just kind of listed, or it's lying like on something, like on the ground or on a table, and then you can have a couple items next to it. You could have items that would pair with. So something attention grabbing for the top photo. However, you want to make sure, again, that you're honest. You want to show if there's something wrong with the item, if there's a stain, if there's a rip, and you also want to check in good lighting. So where we used to live, we didn't really have good lighting, so like sometimes I would not notice that there was some sort of a stain or a mark on something. Make sure you have good lighting. You could walk it outside and check how what it looks like. Try to take pictures of the items in daylight if you can. However you can, to make it look as closely resembling of what the item looks like. That's definitely what you want to put out there. And in the description, so when you're writing the description, this has a rip in it, this has a stain in it, make sure to be honest. This was worn, but it still has the tags on. This has the tags on, it was never worn, got it, and I was gonna return it, but I forgot, etc. You can let the buyers know as much as possible. One of the things you can do is, if you're listing it for like $80, you could do just $1 cheaper, $79, because it just looks a little bit cheaper. Well, it makes a difference. Definitely, if you know the original price of what the original price was, even if you got it as at a discount, you can list what the original price was and then just list what you're selling for. If you don't know what the original price was, or maybe say it was a gift or something, you can just put $0 and of what the original price was, and then just list it for whatever you're selling it for. When you are shipping, want to try to ship as quickly as you can. If you can accept the offer and then ship within 1 day, that definitely looks the best. The second that you have your item wrapped, make sure to put that, or like say if you're in transit to the post office and you have it packaged and all, make sure to mark down that it's packaged, it's ready to ship, and they'll start listing that as your tracking time. Boxes, so you can use just a regular box that you have and use your tape on it, or you can use the priority mail boxes. But the only thing, so this is you can see this is priority mail, but this is a flat rate. Do not use flat rate boxes. You will have to repackage it, or you'll have to pay like an extra fee for when you go to ship it. So make sure, do not use a flat rate box. Use the regular priority mail, not flat rate. Otherwise, use just a regular box that you have and then package it up. When you're packaging up your package, so when I put it into the box, and I'll show you so you can see how another person did it. So this is actually the box that it came. It also was in like another box. So when I usually pack something up, I put the item in like a tissue paper, or maybe if I think it's going to rain, I could put the whole item within a plastic bag, but I try to make it look presentable, and I always put a thank you card in there. A couple times I forget, but I always try to remember to put a thank you card in there. So what I'll do is I'll say, you know, thank you for your purchase. I hope you have a great time poshing, or happy poshing. And I hope you love this item. I hope it makes you happy. And maybe I'll say like happy Halloween or happy holidays. And then I'll always sign at Lorelei 555. So they know to return back to my store. Sometimes if they do like a bundle or they do a really big purchase for me, I'll offer maybe like $5 off their next purchase or a discount. So something to consider if you, I guess, purchase from me. When you're packaging up your package, make sure you use real packaging tape. So like this kind of tape, because you really want to make sure that the package is secure, and you want to make sure that your label stays on there, that everyone stays good. So definitely make sure to do that. I wanted to briefly talk about some of my Poshmark fails, some of the things I messed up, and then some of the receiving fails that I've had. When I first started poshing, one of the mistakes I made, I shipped a package, but then the tape that I used was more like a Scotch tape and not a shipping tape. So when I say to use the shipping tape, I really mean it, because I taped the label on with the Scotch tape, and somehow the label came off, and literally the label got delivered to the person and they received it, and they're like, I just received a label and I did not even receive the package. So the package got lost. I was very lucky because just starting out and this accident happening, Poshmark actually covered the error, and they covered both people. So they gave them their money back, and then they actually gave me the money so it would cover the package that was lost, because I don't know what happened. I know that Scotch tape now is not something you should be using, so it did mention make sure you secure your package. So definitely something to think about. Another mistake I made was with having not a good lighting. I had an item that I didn't realize had some stains on it, because when I looked at it, it looked fine, and our lighting, I thought that was good enough, but when I received it back and when I took it outside and looked at it in the daylight, I realized that there definitely were some stains on it. I received the item back, the purchaser shipped it back, they got their money back, and yeah, that was a little bit of a fail, so don't do that. It's one thing I got in trouble for early on, which now the rules have changed. So a while ago, after our wedding, I was selling some of the items for the wedding. So it was some like candelabras and some little like cupcake and cake tier type things, and I got kind of like a little slap on the wrist, because at that point it was only meant for like shoes and clothing and those types of things. So they said, no, you know, you can't sell something like this, you know, you've been warned. If you get warned like whatever 3 times or whatever it is, and you can't sell on Poshmark anymore. I was like, no. So now the rules have changed, and they're actually trying to get people to include more of the household types items, because now they have a whole category for it. So before I got in trouble for it, but now it's okay. So, but just the point is, make sure you pay attention to the rules, because there are items that you cannot sell on Poshmark. So pay attention to what you can and cannot sell. One of them is used makeup. So something to consider when you're listing your items. If you have makeup that you want to sell, make sure it's something that has not been used. It's, you know, in the package, and keep to the rules. On the flip side, I have received some items that were not exactly what I expected. So sometimes I'll get items where maybe it's a dress or something, and so a lot of times I guess it's tough. It's tough with clothing. So some of the times I got something in and it was as described, but then it just didn't fit right, and I never have the heart to send it back, because you're getting it for a lot of times such a little amount of money, and it was still a nice item. So then I would end up either reselling it or I would just donate it. So that's something that happened. One time I got, and this is another reason to be careful when you're listening to your description and you're showing what it looks like. I got an item that looked like a beautiful hot pink, and when I got it, it was like purple. And so I don't know what happened with the person taking the picture of it, but it did not look how it looked when I received it. So I didn't put a report in or anything, but I just messaged her and I said, look, you know, this looked like a pink in the picture and it showed up looking like purple. And so she said she apologized, and she said if I wanted to purchase something else, then she would give me she could give me a free item for her closet that was under like $10 or something, or she could give me a discount off of a higher product. So I don't know if I took advantage of that or not, I can't remember, but I thought that was a really nice gesture, and I think it's nice to give that person the benefit of the doubt, because like myself, I've made mistakes before, and sometimes people just don't realize or don't know, or it wasn't their fault. Another time I purchased eyelashes, my favorite eyelashes, and when I received them, I realized that these were not genuine eyelashes. So for that, I had to report them. I had to send a picture in, and they were eyelashes that I had used for years. I usually purchase one pair a year. So that was, was it sent back? I think it might have been sent back, and then they refunded my purchase of that. So something to keep out for. I mean, the same thing happens with Amazon, a lot of other places. That only happened one time. Most of the other times it was where it either didn't fit right or it didn't look exactly like, there's only a couple times where it didn't look exactly. Most of the time it's like a fit thing. But otherwise, the majority of my purchase I've loved and I've used a lot. So I'm very satisfied. And I continue to purchase on there, and I love Poshing. All right, quickly, I wanted to do an unboxing of my most recent package that I received. So, all right, technically, full disclosure, I have opened this before, because the second that you receive it, you wanna push if you accept it or if you do not, so that way the person can get their money. But I just wanted to show you what it's like to unbox for a new package. So this was wrapped with some wrapping, and these are some Michael Kors pumps that I just got. So I got these for $29, and I'm really excited for these, so I can use them for work and just have like a nice professional shoe. And I love the way they fit perfectly. So I'm really excited about these ones. And they came with a thank you card, but for some reason I can't find it. So I wanted to share a thank you card that I had from, I think it was the Michael Kors sandals that I got. So I thought this was really cute. So this person used, oh, if you can see it, it's like a, almost like, not like a calligraphy, but they used like a marker to say my name. And then inside they had a cute little card that says thanks. And it says, hey gorgeous, thank you for shopping my closet, with a heart. Enjoy your MK flats, XOXO at Sincerely Glam. So they signed with their like handle, or like their name for their closet, kind of like how I do. So I just wanted to show you an example of how they did it. And some people will do other things where they'll put like maybe a little sticker in there, or a little pin, or what other things have I had? I think I've seen like tiny little makeup sample things, or just cute little things to kind of add their own signature in there. But I highly recommend. It also makes people remember you and look back at your closet and give you a good review. So you want to have good reviews. And next I'll be getting into how to be a Poshmark ambassador. All right, so how I became a Poshmark ambassador. So when I first started with Poshmark, all I was trying to do was sell some items, make some money so I could save up for my wedding and pay back college loans and whatever else was that I had to take care of financially. And also I was looking for items where I could purchase for very cheap price for the wedding and get ready for that. And so at first I was trying to get as much exposure to my page and my items. So they have these things called Posh parties. So you'll get these notifications throughout the day where they might have like, I think it's at like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, maybe like 5 or 6 o'clock. 10 o'clock is like the general one where it's like you can share any single item that you have from your closet. You can just hit share to that party, and then anyone that's looking at that party will see all the items that either you shared or other people shared to that party. Throughout the rest of the day, from like the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and the 5 or 6 o'clock ones, they're specific categories. So it might be like swimwear, maternity, menswear, children, dresses and skirts, things like that. And then every day it's something different. And you can also help contribute to making your own type of Posh party and hosting your own party. I haven't done that before, but I've seen other people do it. So during those parties, you want to try to get your items included. And also sometimes they can do certain brands. So they might have like Michael Kors or Tory Burch, Lululemon, things like that. So if you get a notification that one of those Poshmark parties is going on and includes some of the items, like the categories that your items can fall into, you want to make sure you share to those parties, because then people will see, like, who are looking for all Michael Kors or all shoes, that here are all the items that are being listed right now frequently for those in those parties, and they can just kind of search down through it. They can also search by category, just in general, like any part of the day, and then they can search by price, color, designer, all of those things. But the Posh parties, it just kind of, it's like an exciting time and like a reminder of like, this is what's going on and here's some hot brands and trends and whatnot. So I highly encourage you to share those. So in the beginning, I was sharing as much as possible. And the other thing is you can share other people's items or their closets. Now for myself, I only would share items or closets for ones that I loved, or, just maybe something that I could also use myself. And if not, then just ones that I wanted to help share. But it's always things that I supported and wanted to show to others. So I shared as much as I could. And at some point I got to like, 5,000 shares. I think I might have gotten like a notification of you're almost at this level or something like that. You could become a Poshmark ambassador. So what you have to do, you have to share other people's items at least 5,000 times, which is a lot. But you also have to self-share, so share your own items 5,000 times. So again, I started in 2013 and I became a Posh ambassador maybe like a year or two ago. So it took a long time, but I didn't know about that. I just kind of all along that time was sharing my own items and then other people's items, because in addition, if you share other people's items, then they will notice you, that you shared for them, and then they might share some of your items in return. It's kind of like a little like you help me, I help you type of thing, and then they might even consider looking at your closet, and sometimes they do, and then they follow you, so then you gain followers. So then other items you have to do, you have to share a minimum of 50 new Poshmarkers, and then you'll know these Poshers that are new because there's like a way that you can search for new people, and then they have like a little thing on their like their page saying that they're new. You have to have a minimum of 50 available listings on your Poshmark page. You have to have a minimum of 15 sales. You have to have above 4.5 average stars for your sales, for your purchase rating. Your ship time has to be less than 3 days. And then you have to have a minimum of 1 love note given. So a love note means when you purchase something and you leave like a comment on it. So you rate it and you leave a comment. So I've so far left 28 comments. So sometimes I'll purchase something and then I just, like I'll give a rating, but then I just like, I don't, feel the need to give a comment. Sometimes if they go over beyond, then I'll definitely say, hey, this was super nice, I really appreciate it. Or if I really love it, I love this so much, I'm so happy, or thank you for this deal, or thank you for shipping so fast, you really saved the day. And that actually happened recently because I needed shoes for the ball that I recently attended, and the lady was able to get it shipped out really quickly and get it to me in time, so that was really cool. But yeah, so those are some of the requirements for like the criteria met to be a Poshmark ambassador. So try to ship as quickly as you can. So if I have an offer for one of my items and I know that the offer is good for 24 hours. Now again, well, I didn't mention this before, but actually if you make an offer on something, you can cancel before the person accepts, as long as they don't accept. And then the same thing for if you are selling something, if someone purchases something, but then something happens, or you haven't shipped yet, I think they can actually still cancel the order as long as you haven't shipped yet. So you want to, after you accept the order, try to accept it as soon as you can. If it's over the 24-hour waiting period, and say like you have like 1 more hour, 2 more hours before the offer expires, I would go as long as you can to try to make it close to that time of when you're gonna ship it. If it's like, say like the next day, and that way you can get your shipping time down. So that's a big trick. So I would accept the order and then try to get it packaged up. They will email you a label where you can ship it to that person. So get that printed out as soon as possible. And then I actually, I try to have priority shipping boxes or other boxes just on hand that fit certain items. And I make sure that I have lots of shipping tape. So I showed you some of the shipping tape, but I actually have like a couple of these big ones. They're just not on like the, they're not on one of these things. So I have to find the one where it's like on these. But these are really handy because you can quickly pull across and then just break it off. So you're not like searching, trying to get the little tape off of there. And have thank you cards on hand. I usually get them from Dollar Tree. So you can get like 8 to 12 thank you cards. Michael's also, I think, for like $1, $1.50, you can get some really nice thank you cards from there. So include a little thank you note in there and then try to get that shipped by like the next day. I usually go directly to the post office. So you can mark as soon as you have it like shipped out, like say if you want to put it in your mailbox or something, if it fits in there, you can just mark that, hey, this is shipped. But for myself, because I really want to impress the buyer and get a good review, and I want to make sure that I have a receipt for that tracking, because I have sent out items, like one time I sent out an item before that I didn't give to the post office and somehow it got lost and it said that I never shipped it. So every time I have, either my husband helps me out and he brings it there, or I directly go to the post office. So I bring it to the post office, I just drop it off, and all I do is I say, you know, can I just have a receipt for this? It's already wrapped up, it already has a label on it, and then I get the receipt and I notify the purchaser right away and say, hey, this shipped, and I do like a little like celebration like emoji or something. So you always want to be as actively communicating as you can with the person. If they are offering you something, try to respond as quickly as you can to let them know if, you know, maybe you can't do that low of a price, or maybe if they do this, or if they bundle it, you can give them a discount. That's also another thing you can do that maybe Amazon or another place wouldn't have, is that you can bundle items. So from one seller, you could say, hey, I want this, this, and that, and can you bundle them together and give me a discount? And you can. And so that's also another great way to become you know, a Poshmark ambassador and get yourself out there, is by offering and communicating and just being friendly with the audience out there. So yeah, again, if you can meet that criteria, you can become a Poshmark ambassador. Before I was a Poshmark ambassador, I had maybe like 7,000 followers or something like that at that point. Again, this is over several years. And then I became a Poshmark ambassador, and they notified me. They said, you know, I think I had to accept. And they said you have to meet certain criteria, you have to meet certain standards, and you know, you're going to, basically they made me like a person who's shown to the new users. So after that happened, the users who were following me, it increase exponentially. So I think when there are new persons who are added, they're like shown my page or something as like a suggested person. And I know when I joined, there were suggested users that I saw also. And so a lot of times I would click on them and I like their page, and then I would just start following them and say, hey, you know, how they have so many thousands of users, like how do I do that so I can get lots of purchases in? Just because you have a lot of followers does not necessarily mean you're gonna get a lot more purchases, but it can help. So you still wanna have the right products out there. You want to have like the honesty aspect of it, and you know, good layout to make it something that's appealing to the potential buyers out there. So the biggest thing is probably share. So either your page or someone else's page, your listings, their listings. Make sure to share it, be part of the parties, and just, you know, spend a night just, you know, sharing all of your different items. List as many items as you can, because you still have to meet that requirement of available listings. Oh, and then one of the biggest things I haven't mentioned yet about being a Poshmark ambassador is that there's another way that you can earn a little bit of extra money on the side. So with being a Poshmark ambassador, they have offered, and I've taken advantage of this a bunch of times already, where if you connect to like an Instagram, or I think Pinterest, or like a Facebook type page, but I think I've only taken advantage of it for Instagram in this way. Each month they'll give you these little like challenges. I think they're called like ambassador challenges or something, that you can complete, where if you post, say, like a picture of like a new item that you listed, or an awesome find that you found on Poshmark, and that you posted on your Instagram page or another place, they can give you a Posh credit. So it used to be that they would give you $10 for every $10 credit for every post that you were doing. I think now it's $5, so it's not as good, and it still is a little bit of work because you have to get that new post up there. You have to get like the new item and all the pictures and the description and everything. And then you got to get it posted to your Instagram page and everything to say, and then you have to kind of like copy the link and then post that back to Poshmark, and then show that you put the link on there and like connected it. And then you have to do like a couple hashtags. I think you have to make sure you put hashtag like advertisement in there, ad, and like Poshmark and whatnot. But something to consider, because you can definitely get some nice, like a little bit of income on there too. At least put towards more items that you need to get for Poshmark. You can put that towards like birthday gifts or something you want to buy on there, because again, there are items new with tags, like brand new, that you can get for other people, so you can take advantage of those credits. Once you make your sales, it's really easy to get the money as soon as the purchaser gets their package and they hit accept, then automatically goes into your account, and then you can either use that as money towards your next purchase, or you send it right to your bank account. So the majority of the time I send it to my bank account, but a couple of times I use it towards my next purchase. So something to think about. And remember, if you use my code LauraLye, so L-Y-E, so L-A-U-R-A-L-Y-E 555, if you use that code, you can get $5 off your first purchase if you are new to Poshmark. And then otherwise, if you're already in Poshmark, then you have your own code, which you can send to your own friends, where they can get onto Poshmark and then have $5 off their first purchase. And then if they do make a purchase, then you get a credit back. So something to consider and pass on. And yeah, so that's my video today for on Poshmark. It's one of my favorite apps. I've been using it since 2013, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm hoping maybe that you guys can use it to find some deals to make a little bit of extra money on there. I know one person I found on there that I follow on Instagram now, I think it's called like at the Posh Hanger or Posh Hanger, something like that, where she buys items at like wholesale or just lower prices, and then she sells them on Poshmark, a couple other places, but she's been making, I think, almost like a living off of this. So there are definitely people who do that. There are whole pages about this, like Instagram, on YouTube, lots of different places. So that's something you want to consider. You can totally do that too. Otherwise, if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.